Gentlemen, you may soon have the alternative to live as slaves or die as freemen. That's Daniel Oconnell, the liberator, Ireland. He is the man that inspired Frederick Douglass, the man behind Frederick Douglass. Let me tell you a little bit about Ireland during the time of Daniel Oconnell so you can make the relationship. The Irish were considered, like black Americans, as simians. There were cartoons of Irish people as simians, like there were cartoons in America of American blacks as simians. They could not vote. They could not own property. They could not be in parliament. There was a term called hybridophobia, which was the term to describe the Irish, the phobia against Irish people. Daniel Oconnell identified a lot with the American black. He came from a very wealthy Catholic family, and when I say the Irish were treated differently, the Irish are predominantly Catholic. He developed the non-violent protest movement, and he was the developer of the monster demonstrations of putting people together and showing great numbers of people for force. But at the same time, he was put in a situation where he saw the potential of violence, and he called off the demonstration. He was an American abolitionist. He actually opposed the state of Texas entering the United States because of slavery. He was a gifted orator. He became one of the top people in the abolitionist movement. Over 150 years before Martin Luther King and over 100 years before Gandhi. He became the first Catholic MP or member of parliament in the history of Ireland. The creator of the monster meeting. Now, let's go to Frederick Douglass. He was born circa 1818 in Talbot County, Maryland. His first taste of education was from the mistress that owned him. She taught him the basics, but when her husband found out, she stopped it. But Frederick was smart. He would go out with the kids, the white kids, and he'd play with them and ask them questions that were open-ended questions, so he would learn something from them. A closed-ended question would be, is something yes or no? But he would ask a question that they had to tell him something that would enhance his knowledge. They helped teach him to read. When he moved to New York, he married Anna Murray, a free black woman. He also met William Lloyd Garrison, one of the most famous abolitionists. And in 1843, he wrote his famous book, The Narrative Life of Frederick Douglass. Immediately he became a target. What that meant is because of the Fugitive Slave Act, there were many people who had the incentive to bring Frederick Douglass south. Frederick Douglass had to leave the country. He went to Europe. He was planning on going there for a couple of weeks. He met with some European leaders and was told about Daniel Oconnell. He met Daniel Oconnell at a meeting and was overly impressed. He had said, and I'll go to the end, is that I am now safe in old Ireland. He was scheduled to stay there for 4 days. 4 days. He stayed 4 weeks. Charles Sumner had given him a letter. Charles Sumner, again, is an abolitionist that had given him that letter to meet Daniel O'Connell. Frederick Douglass felt, he said for the first time in Ireland, he was treated like a man. At Morgan State University, there is a monument of Frederick Douglass, and he is wearing a cape. The story is the cape was given to him by Daniel O'Connell. Frederick Douglass returned to Ireland in the 1880s and met with Daniel O'Connell's family. But there's one thing to note: the Irish was poor, but he was not a slave. Well, on April 2014, Congressman John Lewis gave the inaugural speech for the Frederick Douglass Memorial in Dublin, Ireland. I'd like to thank you for your time. If there's something that you want to hear more about, put notes underneath. Please give me a thumbs up. I need your subscription in order to produce quality videos. I thank you very much and have a great day.